What's up everybody, Matty Mo here, and this time we're going to be revisiting the Sony Xperia Z3. I want to include Sony in my series because the Z3 has one of my favorite designs on a smartphone, and it also happens that the Z3 Compact was in my list of top 5 smartphones of 2015. This will be the third smartphone that I review in the Is It Worth It series, where I go over things such as what's changed, is it still worth buying, and how has the phone aged since its initial release. Now, I'm not going to go through all the specs because this phone's been out for quite some time, but I have included them in the description down below for your reference. The Sony Xperia Z3 was released in October 2014, and a lot of people were upset to see Sony release a new phone only 6 months after the initial release of the Z2. They both share very similar designs, but the Z3 has been refined and perfected in ways that you will appreciate. No longer are there these jagged edges, but instead you have smooth rounded ones, where before when you held the Z series phone it felt like holding an unfinished design, but now it feels like you're holding an award-winning one, and I absolutely love the way this phone feels in the hand. It screams premium and in my opinion is one of the best looking Android smartphones of 2014. But we're not here to compare the Z3 to the Z2, we're here to find out if this phone is still worth buying. So here are some of the things that I love about the Z3. First up, I love how the phone is waterproof and dust resistant without sacrificing design quality and materials. It seems no other smartphone company has done this yet. It has great ergonomics and feels awesome to hold in your hand. The battery life is top notch and beating out the majority of phones from last year. Getting almost 2 days of use is easily achievable. It has a great camera that takes good photos and dual speakers that put it in second place behind the HTC One M8 for sound. And it also integrates nicely into the PlayStation 4 ecosystem. And finally, the last bit of goodness is the display. But first I want to mention that I personally prefer IPS panels. Don't get me wrong, the vivid and saturated colors of AMOLED displays on the Galaxy and the Moto X line look great, but the grayish or yellowish whites drive me bananas. I'd rather a balanced display than a display that lacks in one area and excels in all others. With that being said, I found the Xperia Z3's IPS panel to be really good and definitely one of the top 3 IPS panels of 2014. Now let's talk about the complaints, and the first complaint I have about the phone is the ability to only buy it in a 16 gigabit storage option. I know it has a microSD card slot where you can store extra stuff on, but the fact of the matter is when you put stuff on a microSD card slot, it slows down the overall user experience. I would have loved to see an actual 32 gigabit option as well. The next complaint is a minor one. It's specifically geared towards the black version of this phone. Because the device has a glass back, it attracts fingerprints like a fat kid on a Smartie. But the good news is you can avoid this by either slapping a case on or opting for the white version instead. Next up is the camera, where it provides an overall good user experience, but it would have been nice to have optical image stabilization and a bit better low light performance. And finally, the UI. It's not the worst UI to look at, but it felt dated and cheesy, especially on KitKat. The good news though is that once you upgrade to Android 5.0 Lollipop, you will find a toned down version of the UI and a lot more of stock Android shining through. A great example is the notification menu. Now, I've never had any lag issues with the Z3, even on KitKat, but the upgrade to Lollipop only improved the speed of this phone. The speed was consistent and I never felt that the phone could handle anything that I threw at it. This is surprising, especially for a device that is not running stock Android. 5.0 also brought better battery life to a phone that already had great battery life, easily pushing 2 days of moderate use, and I can only imagine that the upgrade to 5.1 will make it even better. So what's the bottom line then? Is the Sony Xperia Z3 still worth it? And I think the answer is pretty clear. Most definitely yes. It's waterproof, premium, and packs everything you want in a smartphone without making any major compromises. I'd most definitely recommend this device and its smaller sibling, the Z3 Compact. I feel anywhere from $0 to $100 on a 2-year contract is more than fair. Now the bad thing is if you do plan on buying this off contract, the phone will cost you up to $700 Canadian or $569 US. With the Z3 being great, I'm also really excited to see what the Sony Xperia Z4 brings. And I'll still be happy even if they kept a similar design and form factor. If you're curious to know what the Z4 is bringing to the table, you can check out my rumors and what to expect video. I'll put a link in the description down below for those who are interested. So what do you guys think of the Z3? Do you think it's still worth it? And for those of you that have a Z3, let me know in the comments below what you like and dislike about your phone. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already so you can see more awesome videos like this one. And I'll see everybody in the next episode.